Call this meeting to order. Mary, would you please read the roll?
Showalter.
Here.
Myers.
Here.
Thompson. Redland.
Here.
Howard.
Here. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. I'd like to thank everybody for coming tonight. Is there anybody signed up for public comment? No public comment. All right, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Item A, commission meeting minutes. And item B, appropriation ordinances 2023-10 and 2023-10A and 2023-P10. Is there any comments on those?
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda items A and B.
I'll second. I have a motion by Commissioner Showalter and a second by Commissioner Redland. Any other comments? Mary?
Thompson. Showalter.
Yes.
Redland.
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
Howard.
Yes. All right, I will move on to number 4, presentations and proclamations. The National Police Week proclamation. And the National Police Week proclamation, May 14th through the 20th of 2023. Whereas in 1962, President Kennedy proclaimed May 15th as National Peace Officers Memorial Day, and the calendar week of May 15th falls as National Police Week. And whereas there are approximately 800,000 law enforcement officers serving in the communities across the United States, including dedicated members of the City of Goodland Police Department, and whereas the members of the Goodland Police Department play an important role in safeguarding the rights and freedoms of our citizens of our community, and whereas since the first recorded death in 1791, over 20,000 law enforcement officers in the United States have made the ultimate sacrifice and have been killed in the line of duty, and whereas May 15th is designated as Peace Officers Memorial Day in honor of all the fallen officers and their families, and U.S. flags should be flown at half-staff, and now, therefore, I, J.J. Howard, Vice Mayor of the City of Goodland, do hereby proclaim the week of May 14th through the 20th of 2023 as National Police Week in the City of Goodland. Encourage all citizens of the public salute, serve the service of the law enforcement officers in the community and in communities across the nation. I witness, therefore, I have hereunto set my hand in the cause of the seal of the City of Goodland to be affixed this 15th day of May 2023. All right, and I see we have most of the police department here, or all of it. And I guess I'd like to thank all of you for serving as the police officers and protecting all the residents of the City of Goodland and everybody that comes through. And I guess we get a picture.
Sure. Or you might want to ask Police Chief to say a few words.
Yeah, if you want to say anything.
No.
No?
City.
Okay.
City.
All right.
I'd like to say a couple of things
Okay.
real quick if I could. Number one, I wanted to let you know that I appreciate everything you guys do. It's been my honor and opportunity to work with many of you with my work at the college, and I've known none of you to do or be anything other than fair and judicious with our students, and I appreciate that. And special thanks to the families as well. Kind of begrudgingly, they choose to be police officers. You don't necessarily choose that life, but you get that life whether or not you want it or not. So thank you for supporting your families, and to all your spouses, thank you.
Yep. Thank you. How about a round for the police department?
Come take pictures with us.
Pictures, yeah, pictures.
Thanks, Mark. Sorry. Did you guys win the game then?
You guys are all the.
Yes.
There you go.
Well, we need to, Kent, you'll have to get on the.
Frankie, can we use your phone?
Well, that'd be one, that's not enough.
You're gonna have to squeeze.
Mine will take them, everybody like this.
We can do this. If you would.
Tim tried to grab my hand. That pink looks good on you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Moving on to number 5, ordinances and resolutions. Item A, resolution 1613, pool fees. I'll defer over to Kent.
Members of the commission, staff does review these fees, and we understand that pool is just an amenity. There's obviously going to be more cost than revenues for the pool. Although now Barb has recommended to increase the swim lessons by $5 from 25 to 30. That is still significantly less than most other places around. And then there's just 2 additional things in the resolution. It's just for the family season pass limited to 4 persons, because it's not trying to penalize large families, but sometimes there's all kinds of different more remote family members that become part of the pass. So, and it was really just $15 for additional person. $100 is still much less than, again, most of the neighboring pools and most of the pools in the west half of the state. It's just adding that and then adding a punch card for 10 visits for those folks who come in for a week or 2. It's another method in order to help people with large different things going on. Another avenue for them to work. It didn't work well, or was getting to the point it wasn't working well a few years ago. So they dropped it, and it's just a different trying to bring that back and see if it will work better this summer. So other than that, didn't want to change too much of the fees for this year, and that's what's before you tonight.
What does it cost just for one person to just get into the pool by themselves?
$4.
$4?
Anyone under the age of 4 is free, so.
Yeah, there's that caveat too.
And that's a fee that's not changing in a very long time, correct?
They changed it in 2019 from $3 to $4. There was a recommendation to go to 5, but they went up to 4 at that time.
So when they're purchasing a family card or family pass, they're putting down 4 different family members. And those names that are written at the beginning are the only ones that are allowed in the pass, correct?
Correct. Unless they want to add additional, then
And they can add that.
they can add that, if it's an immediate family member. That's what they try to do.
Any other comments? Yeah.
Barb did send this from last year. They had 30 individual passes, 99 family passes. They had about 128 that took swim lessons last year, and the daily admissions, they averaged about 56 paid admissions each day. So those were the numbers from last year.
I think it's a good thing for the community and try to keep it as reasonable as we can. We know we don't make any money off of it, and it's a losing proposition for the city, but it's someplace for kids to go and family members to go and have a good time.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 1613 for pool fees.
I'll second that.
Have a motion by Commissioner Showalter and a second by Commissioner Redmond. Any other comments or questions? Mary?
Redmond,
Yes.
Thompson, Myers,
Yes.
Showalter,
Yes.
Howard.
Yes. Moving on to item B, resolution 1614, matching funds for base grant 2.0.
This was a grant, we were notified at the end of April that the city was awarded to extend utilities and the street surface within the industrial park. The grant is a 75%, 25% cost share, so 25% needs to come from city in order to work it. And before the Department of Commerce will distribute any monies they need, they want some confirmation stating that the pool of proof of matching funds is available. So that's what this resolution is doing. It doesn't tie us, it's not marked in stone. This is the expectation of where those funds come. And it's basically saying that we do have the funds available. You have that within the information provided. It includes amounts from the Grant Improvement Reserve Fund. Also the Capital Improvement Reserve Fund and the proceeds from a previous lot sale. Some ARPA funds remaining. And then remaining balance in the Capital Improvement Fund regarding some storm damage previously that we paid all the proceeds. We still had a little bit, not very much left over, but that's available to be used. And then the reserves for the sewer and water are able to handle the remaining 32,000 of it. So if by some happenstance we're able to have anything else match it, we can make those adjustments in the future. But have made an inquiry through the Innovation Center to see if there could be an additional match from that direction through Northwest Kansas. But I would view that as not very likely a possibility. But if it does happen about, then we won't have to use all of these. And this is expended over the next, the grant needs to be completed within 2 years. So it's not before the end of this fiscal year, before the end of this calendar year. It goes into 24 and the beginning of 25. And Mary, did you have any other comments?
Nope, I think you covered it.
Well, we've said that we need to do something to get some more maybe businesses to come to town, and if we don't have the utilities and the infrastructure for them, they want to look elsewhere because it's not available right at the time. I think it's a good thing, and I would be in favor of everything.
excited to be on a commission that has the opportunity to move forward with something like the industrial park. I know that's something that, has been on everybody's radar for a long time. And I think in the end, you know, whether we sit and do nothing, that costs us money. Or if we do something, that's gonna cost us money. The outcome is just significantly different, so I'm excited to be part of something that can be big out there.
I'll move to approve Resolution 1614, the matching funds for base 2.0 grant.
I have a motion by Commissioner
Second.
Ridlin. I have a second by Commissioner Myers. Any other further comments? Mary?
Myers,
Yes.
Thompson, Showalter,
Yes.
Redmond,
Yes.
Howard.
Yes. Formal actions. A, IFB 2023 wheel loader. Kitten?
Yeah. Defer to.
Hello, how are you guys?
Hello.
Good. We've received 7 bids for the wheel loader that was requested. Before I get too far into that, I kind of want to touch base. There's been some concerns on why we went new over used. So I just wanted to kind of fill people in on that. So these loaders that the city has purchased in the past, these are lasting the city at 30 plus years, which, you know, that's pretty good lifespan for them. Which, if the city would go, I personally wouldn't recommend the city going with a used, just for that fact. With new, you get government pricing, which is tremendously amount. I talked to a couple of guys, it seems it's about 20% less. I did get a message from Doug Minson, he's a cat salesman, and he kind of gave me some numbers from what used stuff on his lot is versus new. If I'd be interested to share with you guys. They got a 2017 with 4,000 hours, which is $185,000. And then they got also a 2021 with 1,100 hours, and it would be priced as the same loader as if we buy it today.
A new loader.
A new loader.
Same prices.
But those prices also aren't including with the JRB coupler, so we'd have to pay the additional for the JRB coupler. So that kind of shows you, you know, 2021 with 1,100 hours, same price as a new one. We're getting a good deal on that. So,
And
That's-
probably less warranty too.
and yeah, you don't get the warranty with the used.
Yeah.
I mean, so, yeah, so that's where we're kind of at on that. Any questions on that? Okay, I'll kind of go back into the information. We got 7 bid notices received. We published bid notices on the website, bid.direct.net, and on April 17th. And we, any questions, acceptance deadlines were May 5th. 7 bids were received by the deadlines on May 10th at noon at the city office. The bids received are included in the bid. Which can equipment was one with $194,194. That was with a JCB 427Z. A Murphy tractor, which is a John Deere, at $231,776.54. That was a 544 John Deere. MTC, it's XCMG loader at $173,500. And fully equipment cat, it was a $213,853.12. That was a 926M. BLP, that would be a case loader at $197,615. Berry tractor, $223,520.81. Komatsu, it's a WA328. Central Power Systems and Services, $162,602. It's a Doosan DL220. As you can see, they're kind of all over the board. So, current, as of right now, this after opening the bids, we did also have some alternative bids onto that. Was a scale and forked attachments. It's just alternative. See what the prices came in at. Some of them mentioned put their bids in on that. JCB had no weigh scale, but they did price forks at $7,200 with theirs. John Deere weigh kit was $6,800, $14, and the forks were $83.40. MTC, the scales included with their loader, but the forks were $6,500. John Deere, or Case, Cat. Cat was, scale was $10,890, and the forks were $82.40. Case was, they just priced forks, no scale. Well, I'm sorry, they did price the scale, but they put it in separate. The scale was about $6,000 difference on theirs. Berry Tractor had no forks or scales quoted on theirs. Central Power Systems, the forks was $7,800, the scale was $12,500. So far as that, staff is recommending the purchase of the Doosan, which is actually a Devlon. Devlon bought out Doosan, but it will say a Doosan on it. At the DL220 wheel loader from Central Power Systems and Services at the price of $162,602. Also with the alternative bid of the set of forks at $7,800, so total purchase price of $170,402. Not recommending going with the scale. It was kind of just an option that we wanted to see what would come in at, so it's not a necessity.
Where's Central Plains, Central Power located?
Colby and Garden City.
Okay.
Majority of everybody is out of Garden City on here. I think JCB is the only one that's not out of Garden City. Our service, CAT and Doosan, the service centers will be in Colby.
What's the warranty?
Warranty is 3 years.
Sure, they all bid about the same warranty, didn't they?
Yes and no. But the Doosan was 3 years, 5,000 hours, full machine limited warranty. And they do plan on having it to us by 11/30/2023. So end of November.
Well, didn't we have another loader go down on us too?
Our New Holland's been in and out of the shop, but I mean, that was about the, it did, the New Holland did break down here at Herring City White clean up here, but it's something Levi can fix as of right now, so not a huge deal. It is having a few, hydraulic problems right now they're trying to figure out too, but, it's still working fine, so.
And this is replacing the
1990 John Deere. It's 33 years old.
33 years old. It's
Yeah.
time.
So,
What are your plans for the old one?
we are gonna put out on auction either Big Iron or Purple Wave.
Help offset some of this purchase.
Yes, and that's the big issue. I mean, big thing is we'll be able to put some money back in to replenish the MERV. Because eventually, we're gonna have to replace that 1998 that we have too. And, as far as the used equipment. The city has purchased used before. We did purchase a grader used, and that was before my time, so I don't know how that went. That'd be another thing that'd be difficult going used with our purchasing policy, because you're not getting apples to apples with that. They might be giving you a 3-year-old machine versus this one's a 5-year-old machine, 5,000 hours, 2,000 hours, so it'd be hard to go on purchasing policy on that stuff. But, yeah, and someday, our cat graders will need replaced, and that's something I wouldn't be afraid of going used on eventually, if we have to go that. But as far as these loaders get used by multiple departments, parks, street, electric, water. They're used all the time throughout summer, and then some, where that you guys see them the most is snow removal. If we want to continue having a good snow removal in this town, we gotta have these 3 loaders, so.
In addition, what type of maintenance we need to do on the 33-year-old loader before we get to next year's snow season?
The big thing is the tires. I mean, I was kind of nervous because they told me 8 months out. Well, the tires need replaced, and I think Levi quoted those, and it was going to be $8,000 for tires on it. And I would like to get rid of it before we spend $8,000 on it.
Well, I'd make a motion that we go with the bid from Central Power Systems and Services for the Doosan DL220.
For the amount of,
What the amount of 184?
no,
170,
170,
70, sorry.
402.
It's not on there.
It's down below.
Reading the wrong column.
It's minus the scale system.
Minus the scales.
17402.
I have a motion by Commissioner Showalter.
Second.
Have a second by Commissioner Myers. Any other further comments? Mary?
Bradley,
Yes.
Showalter,
Yes.
Myers,
Yes.
Olson, Hodge.
Yes. Moving on to item B under formal actions, Chip Rock Delivery Bid Award.
Be me again. This year, we only received 1 bid from Heartland Carriers. And it actually was a pretty good bid. He went down on his price from last year. Last year was $13.33. This year, he put in a bid in for $12.80. That's a ton to get here, and we're looking at getting 800 ton here for this year. So now that I've got this last bid in, I got all the other numbers in. I thought I'd share them with you guys, so you guys kind of know what we're planning on for chip sale. So B&H Paving, they did go up 46 from 46 cents to 49.5 cents. Ergon, we are going to go with Ergon Oil this year again versus Quebeco for the chip oil, and they were at $2.91 $2.95 last year, and they actually went down to $2.91 this year. Quebeco Fog Oil, that is with them applying. We are going to go that route. It's cheaper for us to still have Quebeco fog it than have B&H come back to fog it with Ergon Oil. So they went from $3.29 last year to $3.41, and then rock went up $5 a ton this year. So we went from $25 last year to $30 a ton. That's not including the delivery, but he did go down on the delivery of the rock this year. So as far as streets that we are going to be doing on chipping this year, I've got 10th Street from Broadway to city limits down there by Irvin's Drives and stuff, by Eustis. We got Broadway from 8th to Tocas, Caldwell from 8th to Tocas, North Main, and Armory, Main to Caldwell, and then the cemetery tract. And that's all what we're planning on doing with the allotted amount of money that we got, so. So as far as that, I recommend awarding Heartland Carriers with the bid of $12.80 for a total of $10,240 for the delivery to Goodman.
Probably not a lot to discuss on this one.
No.
So I guess I'll make a motion to accept the bid from Heartland Carriers in the amount of $10,240.
Have a motion by Commissioner Showalter,
I'll second.
a second by Commissioner Redmond. Any other further comments, questions? Mary?
Redmond,
Yes.
Myers,
Yes.
Olson, Showalter,
Yes.
Howard.
Yes. Thanks, Kenton. Item 7, discussion items, deadline for city commissioners' election applications. Kenton?
Just a general reminder that the filing deadline for the next election for the city commissioners is on June 1st. Usually you just announce them to the public. The upcoming election in November includes the seats currently held by Commissioner Thompson and Commissioner Howard, and also for Commissioner Myers. And then there's information in the packet regarding individuals seeking an elected city office must be a qualified elector. And the registration is done at the county. And then there's the city candidates guide provided by the League of Kansas Municipalities. And gives some information there. So that's all I have about that.
Anything else? All right, we'll move on to reports. And this is back to the city manager.
The manager memo is in your packets. We've also have the April month-end fund balance statements, the financial statements, and there's also the police monthly activity report that's completed by the police department. It's appreciated. Also this week, before I forget and don't mention it, the auditors are here. They're completing are doing the field work for the auditing of the city's financial statements as of the end of 2022, as of December 31st, 2022. The actual audit report will be given to you guys in a couple months. All right, it needs to be done by the end of July, correct, Mary, as far as the actual report. So we need to receive the report before July 31st. The update on 1523 Colorado Avenue, we are down to one trailer at that place, and in order to be fair, we will be collecting another set of bid information for that, and we'll have that at the next meeting in a more revised scope of what that will include. Although it will include capping. Zach informed me earlier today on capping 3 different sewer lines at a minimum on that property. So there's still some of that work to be done. There's some stuff that's been removed, although it seems like the remainder of stuff has spread out quite a bit at that property. So it's hard to, he's making some progress, but that's not going to be enough progress. It needs to be everything removed from the property. So we'll take care of that next time. Any questions or concerns regarding that property? On this proceeding?
Proceed.
I also talked with, as far as an update on, given staff direction to investigate how to proceed regarding sale of real property. And especially a commercial property, was given the information that it would be better to have it sold at auction rather than as a list price. You'll get a more accurate response as far as the pricing for said property. I wanted to bring that to you and get the board's direction, whether to pursue that, get that set up and pursue that direction, or would you rather go ahead and just list it? The other thing with an auction, you can always set it up with a floor or a minimum price for the property. And we can set, we can set that up. But would like to get the board's direction to see how we should proceed.
Ken, I had some questions on, I guess, guarantees for the property. In our last meeting, I was pretty gung-ho about finding a way to go ahead and offload the property, but now, that I've had time to think about it over the last couple of weeks, I'm a little bit more nervous about just offering up for sale a piece of property on, one of our exits where we don't necessarily have a guarantee that we're gonna end up with a new business or something that would be attractive to people that are pulling off the interstate there. I'm just wondering if maybe it's better for us to hold back and say that we wanna wait and see if there's a business that, we can work with perhaps to do something with that property as opposed to maybe selling it and having it turn into something where people are just gonna turn into a parking lot or something like that. I don't know. Just my thought kind of initially after thinking about it for a couple of days, I got a little bit more nervous about that, so I don't know what everybody else's thoughts were, but.
Well, you make a good point, because that's not what we need coming right off of exit 19. So,
It would be nice to have it to where it would be built, something be built on it,
yeah.
guaranteed within so much time.
I don't know what kind of parameters we could set on that, or if we need to work with economic development or SECD to try to do something with that property. But I don't know, it just makes me a little bit more nervous just to sell it outright and then not know for sure what is going to happen to that property.
Yeah, you get very limited about what restrictions you can put on the property. I did talk with Jake briefly about that, and there, a couple minor things you could put as restrictions, but it probably would not prevent some of the things that we could envision see happening. So, because once you're not the owner of the property, you no longer have control.
Put it up for auction, we don't get to choose what goes on it. So.
No, if you truly wanted to put, again, some of those revisions in there, that language, reverter language, stuff like we did out at the industrial park, in those areas, right? You have to develop this within so many years or it comes back and stuff like that. That is in the world of your private treaty, right? That's your private stuff and what you're doing there. If it's an auction, ideally, you can still put a reserve, but it's an absolute auction. People have seen that before. It comes without restrictions. Don't lose sight though, where it is zoned, where it's at and located, it still have to meet code. So it still just can't be, willy-nilly or become a dump ground or something like that either. But it's six one way, half dozen another at the end of the day. If it's the idea, look, we have these properties, we can offload it, and you're gonna have to get the quote-unquote marketable price for it. An auction is truly the market, right? It's a live market at that point, but you lose your restriction there in your control. If you do it as a private treaty, yes, I would agree with you to the extent of, okay, we were approached by this business, they would like to build, they want to do that, therefore we're willing to give them favorable terms as long as it meets this build, this completion, this whatever within so many years. So it's just, you got options out there, but understand it's gonna be, the dividing line's gonna be how much control you want on that and where you go from there.
Thanks, Jake.
Maybe we should talk with SCCD and see if they have any interest in it first and then move on.
Certainly can. I mean, there's not an urgency regarding the
No.
property. There's benefits to the city moving on the property, but there's, it's not, that's not gonna end 1 month or 2 months
Right.
from now.
Any other questions for the city manager? All right, moving on with commissioners' reports. I'll start over here on my right with Commissioner Showalter.
I guess I'd start with, thank you to the city crew for the work that they did through the community-wide cleanup. I had a chance to kind of drive around and take a look at, some of the piles of winnings that got left for them to be collected. And for the most part, I think most of the people who, set stuff out on the curb to clean up were, gracious about that, and they, kind of followed what I would see as be the norms of what I would expect the city crew to be able to come and pick up. But, I did see some out there that I felt like probably took a little bit of advantage of the program, and I think there needs to, as we move forward, maybe a look at what kind of, some tighter rules. I don't necessarily expect our guys to go out and pick up 7 or 8 dump truck fulls of stuff, when probably that should be something that gets hired out. So they, with smiles on their face, picked up quite a bit of junk the other day, and I appreciate what you guys did and the work that you did, and we'll work to continue that good program. And then I guess I'll put Frankie on the spot for a second. I won't ask for your opinion, but I'll just tell you that I've had done some research, and also had a few people in the community ask me about flock cameras. So I didn't know if you, at some point in the near future, might have some time to review some information on that, see what your thoughts are, and maybe come back and talk to us a little about that. But for those
I've
of you,
actually talked to someone just very briefly at the Chiefs conference, and, yeah, I'd entertain that if you wanna meet or something like that.
it's something that I'm interested in. I'd love to see maybe some information brought back to the commission, so everybody would kind of know
Okay.
what they are, but that's something that I'm interested in. I think it would be an excellent crime fighting tool that could be utilized here, but just something to think about. So that's what I have.
Thank you. Commissioner Myers?
Nothing at this point.
Commissioner Ridley?
Nothing to report.
And for the mayor's report, I'd just like to thank all the city employees. I know they don't ever get enough thanks for what they do, and all the behind the scenes stuff that has been taking place and that they do. And I greatly appreciate it. And I know most of the city, people of the city do too. They just don't mention it. And with that, I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
A motion by Commissioner Showalter,
Second.
a second by Commissioner Myers. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everybody. I figured you guys